The Great Barrier Reef is a World Heritage listed site and is an invaluable environmental resource offshore from the Australian Queensland coastline. This ecosystem is home to more than 1,500 species of fish, corals, sharks and rays, marine turtles and marine mammals, and is the largest coral reef in the world. Although the Great Barrier Reef is an invaluable environmental resource, the world is witnessing mass coral bleaching and coral mortality, primarily caused by global warming. Findings from 2016 show the greatest ever loss of up to 29% of shallow water coral in the Great Barrier Reef due to coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is the process in which coral expels the microscopic algae living within the tissue in reaction to extended increased sea temperatures. In turn, it loses its colour and food source and is likely to die. The environmental dangers of coral bleaching within the Great Barrier Reef are drastic, as it would negatively impact the ecosystem. Coral reefs provide a complex, mutually dependent natural resource with invaluable biological processes such as food and habitat provisions. Great damage to the reef would result in a decreasing abundance and quantity of species with the Great Barrier Reef. This inquiry project was chosen through the observation of increasing media and governmental attention around this topic, as concerns grow surrounding global warming and the known effects of the Great Barrier Reef. These findings were produced through an interpretation of secondary data with the exclusive use of government, academic, and organisational authority sources. The use of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority online database proved to be very successful, as this credible resource provided an abundance of current scientific reports, journals, multimedia, and images. The use of Microsoft Academic proved to be quite a useful resource, as it provided an affiliation filter to determine the reliability of the source. If the Great Barrier Reef is so important, how is the Australian government addressing the issue of coral bleaching to protect the future of the reef? In response to past devastating findings of the state of this ecosystem, Australian and Queensland governments have drastically adapted their response to the threats facing the reef within the creation of the Reef 2050 Long-Term Sustainability Plan. Through the implementation of national regulations and assessment of the current environmental impacts, the Australian government aims to protect and restore the Great Barrier Reef. But is this enough? In 2015, a global climate agreement was constructed by the United Nations and signed by Australia and other such countries under the Paris Agreement. But there are serious doubts towards the sufficiency of this contract to protect the world's coral reefs, and as to whether the Australian government's commitment to real climate action is adequate. If changes to the world's climate become too severe, this ecosystem will be unable to recover, with the prediction of extinction of the Great Barrier Reef by 2050. Further research of this issue must be carried out to represent findings on a global scale to gain accurate insight into the real implications of coral bleaching around the world. Early education on the importance of coral reefs within the environment can be presented to children at years 3 and 4, as they will begin to understand the interdependence of the Great Barrier Reef as an ecosystem. This research will also highlight the need for sustainability of natural environments and how these habitats are dependent on the reduction of unsustainable practices through human impact.